Now, whenever I create a new client, how do I log on to that new client? There is a default user ID created on every new client, newly created client. It is SAP star, and for that user ID, pass is a password. And SAP star and the password is only available for any client which is newly created for the first time you want to log on into the newly created client. Okay. And suppose if you are getting error, the system is not identifying SAP star user ID and password pass in a new client. Make sure this parameter in the SAP system is set to 0. Otherwise, it will not allow. You will never log on into the SAP newly created client. Okay. Make sure this parameter login / no _ automatic _ user _ SAP star, not user. Sorry for the type mistake. It is SAP star. Okay. This parameter is 0, then only it will allow you to use SAP star and the password. Let me see that whether this parameter has a 0 or not in my system. How can I see whether the parameter, if I know the parameter, how can I see the value of that parameter? What is the T code? RZ11. It's a timeout. Let me log in again. Here, RC11. What is the parameter name? Display the value. What is the current value here? 0. Can you see that? The last option, current value is 0. Default value was 1. Current value is 0. It means in my system, I can log in. So this is a parameter, short description, control of the automatic login with SAP star.
Can you show that again?
Area. Sorry?
Can you show?
You want to show this? What do you want to show?
Yeah, the same RZ11. Go back and come back.
RZ11. You didn't check my profile document? Display. Take printout of all my documents. It is a quick reference for you. Okay. Not only now, even when you attending the interviews, those things also, it will be a quick reference for you. Not in detail, but quick reference for you. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Now, let me start creating a new client. Shall I start now? See here carefully. Listen. SCC4 is my T code. When I enter in that T code, it will display all the clients that are available in the SAP system. See here how many clients in this system it is created. Because I have other students, right? They are also creating clients in the system. So you see here many clients are there. Let me pick up a number which 220 I'll create. Here we don't have, after 212 it is directly 250. Okay, what is a view here? Display view. Display view means read view. You will have a first icon here. Convert display view to change view. The first icon here. Convert display view to change view, and you will get a message saying that you are on cross client. It means the table is cross client. Client contains all the tables, right? The table is cross client. It indicates you are in the cross client and making the changes. It gives just a caution. It's an information, nothing to do with that. Click on continue. Sometime you will forget and you will do the changes. In that case, every client will get changed. That is why in the cross client, whenever you do some changes, it will give a prompt. Message that the table is cross client. See, I clicked on display to change button, and now it is showing change view. And in the change view, you will get new entries. Click on new entries. And what is the client number here? 220 is a new number. And what is this client used for? Training purpose. Training client 220. And what is the city? See, usually client is created for a company. Company belongs to which city? Or your company belongs to which city? Like that. For example, if I'm saying here it is Chicago. Logical system, as I told you, it is a name given to that number 220. It is optional. I'm not showing right now. I'm leaving it as blank. What is the currency used in this client? USD. What is this client role? Is it for test or production or customizing? What for? Training and education I'll give. You can give anything. And here you have two options. One for client specific objects. It means in SAP we have two types of data. One data is client specific data. The other data is cross client data. So in client specific, for client specific objects, whenever you do changes, it should be recording automatically. It means your client will become client specific. No changes allowed means you cannot do any configuration changes in the client. You can do only transactions. You cannot do any configuration changes. So in the company production clients, you will have this option. Okay, the end user wants, if end user comes and log into the SAP system and he starts his activity every day, in that client this option is selected. So I'll go with the automatic recording of changes, but some companies will even allow client specific changes are allowed. But the business for whom we are working, the client, is it for Microsoft client or or MXM client, or they people will not allow. They will they will object. No configuration changes during the production hours. Even if it is a cross client changes or client specific changes, we don't want any such changes in the production hour. They'll strictly say that no configuration changes. In that case, this option is selected. Or some people will say it is a client specific anyway. The automatic recording of changes are allowed. And here changes with respect to automatic recording and no transports allowed. Means you can do changes, but you cannot transport the data from one client to another client. The last option. And changes are allowed, but no recording, means it will not be saved permanently. Just for user display it is changes. These are the four options for client specific objects. And you go to the cross client object changes. You have again changes to repository and cross client customizing objects are allowed. It means this client will become a cross client. You can partially enable changes allowed to cross client but not repository. No changes to cross client but changes to the repository allowed. No changes to the repository but cross client changes are allowed. No changes to cross client or no changes to the repository. I'll make this as a cross client. And some people will do client copy or comparison. No restrictions, you can compare or you can copy because there is no harm. But you don't want to allow that, you can restrict. No overriding, no nothing. No restrictions because we are trying to do client copy. That is why no restrictions. We can do client copy. CAT and ECAT restrictions. CAT and ECAT are scripts in the SAP system. So these scripts nowadays SAP is not recommending. If you want to do any automation, you have to take a help from the development team, ask them to write a code and to use that report for automation. Don't go for CAT and ECAT script. It is recently in an SAP article, it is like recently means 3 to 4 years back. They are not recommending for CAT and ECAT script, but still many of the companies are using CAT and ECAT script for automation. So here CAT ECAT scripts not allowed in SAP. It is by default setting in the SAP client, or allowed only in the trusted RFC, not allowed. There are various scenarios. So by default it is not allowed. And when you go to the restrictions, protection against SAP upgrade. From this client you cannot do any upgrade, module upgrade or patch upgrade or anything. Or sometimes during the client copy when you are logging into the SAP client, it will show as the client is locked. Client copy will stuck even though the client is locked. It is not completed successfully because of some errors, but still it shows your client is locked. At that time, this option will be enabled, locked due to client copy. Then you can unlock it, uncheck. It will be unchecked. The client will be unlocked. So these are all options in the client properties. With these options, I am clicking on save. My 220 client will get created now. When I go back and it will show here 220 somewhere here. Yes, 220. This is the client which I created just now. You can also create in your SAP system. You have access for that. And in this client, I don't have the logical system name. And I want to have a logical system name assigned. It is optional. It is used for some specific configurations only. But by default, it is optional. I will show you how a logical system name is attached to the client. Now let me go to the /n, a new screen, SALE, sale transaction. See, display IMG. Okay, sale transaction. This is our sale transaction window. You will get like this. Expand this and go to the basic settings, and you will find in the basic settings you will find logical systems. And expand this logical systems again. You find two options here. One is define logical system, assign logical system to the client. Let me go with the first option, define logical system. Click this execute button. Okay, it shows the table is cross client. Okay. New entries. What is the logical system name? CLNT 220 training TRN. You can give any name, but SAP recommends start with CLNT, but you can give any name. Okay. Here, training client 220 description, so that the logical system name is used for training client 220. Click on save. Whenever you click on save this, it will ask you to enter to mention the request number. As I told you earlier, leave this request number as of now. If it is showing some request number, press continue. If it is not showing request number, create a request and save. Because the next concept I will explain you in detail about what are those requests, why those requests are popping up, everything. Okay. As of now, just skip that. Just continue. Yes, request, save it. Okay. Because again, it will take long time for me to explain that request and other. That's why when that concept comes, I'll explain you in detail. You understand this client is logical system name is created. It is a user friendly name. It is not a number. It's an alphanumeric name. Alphanumeric characters. Okay. CLNT 220 TRG. Okay. TRN, sorry. Go back. Again, go back. What is the second option here? Assign logical system to the client. So let me click on this execute button. Yes. What is my client to which I want to assign my logical system? 220. You are in the change view. Okay. Double click on 220. Here, either you can select from the list, or if you remember CLNT 220 TRN, assign directly, and click on save. You will get a information again. Be careful when changing the logical system name. Why it is saying be careful? Because if 220 is already integrated with some another client or with another SAP system, and you are changing the logical system name, the integration will go off. That is why when you are changing the logical system name, it is be careful, check whether there are any integrations with 220 client with the other SAP systems. If it is there, your integration will be stopped because you are changing the logical system name. Because those integrations will be with the previous logical system name. Okay. So now in my case, I don't have a logical system at all. And this is first time I'm assigning the logical system name and continue. Okay, click on save, go back. So here, number 1, SCC4 is for displaying the number of clients available in the SAP system and for creating the client and to change the client properties. That is the, shall I write here? Displaying the number of clients in SAP. That is one. Client creation, client changes, client property changes. Okay, that is my first T code. Sale is used for logical system name creation and assignment. Am I right? What is the client deletion? What is a client deletion? See, today I will go up to local client copy. I'll not take much because I want you to practice the security roles and also these concepts. It will be burden for you. Okay. What is the client deletion? Client means deleting the client. Let me first log into my client which is newly created. Go to the log on screen. What is my client number? 220. What is the newly, whenever I create a new client, I should log in with the SAP star and the password PASS pass. Enter. See, I logged on to the client 220. Can you see that? 220 client. This 220 client is an empty client. If you want to delete 220 client, whether it has a full data or empty client, doesn't matter. Deletion process is same. For deleting a client, okay, you have to log into that client, the one which you want to delete. Suppose if I want to delete 220 client, I should log into 220 client and then I will use SCC5. You cannot delete the other client. You have to delete, if you want to delete the client, you have to log into that client, the one which you want to delete. Suppose here if I want to delete the client 220, I logged on to the 220 and I'm using SCC5. You see here, delete client, but by default it is selecting 220. If you log into 800, then 800 client will be deleting. It will delete the 800 client. Don't do that while you are practicing. Remember that deleting is the one which you create a new client. Delete that client. Don't delete the existing client 800 because there are many other users who got access like similar to you. Many times my students got deleted same that way. Okay. So here you have one option, two options. One is test run. It is just for testing purpose. It will not actually delete. It will just run it. Okay. Then another one is delete entry from T000 means in the SCC4 you will get all the list, client numbers, all client numbers. Even from that list also it will be deleting. 220 will be deleting from that list. If you unchecked it, only 220 data will be deleted, but 220 client number will remain same. Without data, it will become as a new client. However, whenever we create a new client, the new client doesn't have any data, isn't it? So that way, all data will be deleted. Only the default data will be remaining if you are unchecking this. If you are checking this, 220 number itself will be deleted along with the data. And this process, we have two things. You can start this process in the background. You can start this in the front end. In the front end means you cannot log on to the system until it is deleted, because the process is running here at work. If you go to the background, suppose if I click on front end, start immediately in the foreground. See here, you will get a window, delete client. You have chosen all these options and you have 4 work processes for deleting this task. If you click on continue, it will take 40 minutes for deleting, not less than 40 minutes. In our company, in our system, it will take an hour or two, though it is a new client. Okay, you can practice this. Just you have to click on continue. And if you click on delete in background, you can schedule this job, what time you want to start this deleting process. Suppose I want to start this background job immediately, click on immediately option and click on schedule job. It will be running in the background. And on the foreground, you can continue with your other tasks. It will be running in the background. If you click on continue, it will start deleting. Suppose whenever you start a deleting process or copying process, anything, you can go to anytime SCC3 to see the logs. SCC3. Here, client copy logs. For today, there are no logs. Click on all clients. Here, cancel client. What is cancel? Somebody is trying to do some client, some changes here. What is this successfully completed? Double click. Double click. See, it is a local client copy successfully completed. Like this, application exit error. You should know, right, why the client copy stopped. What is the error? You will come to know here in the SCC3. Application error, some table is unable to copy. That is SCC3 to see the logs. Client deletion and client logs. If you are okay, I will start this concept. If otherwise, I will continue in the next class. That depends on you.
I have a question on the client deletion.
Right.
When you logged into 220 client, you're telling that you can start the deletion immediately. Then you cannot do any task or perform any activities on the 220 client anymore, right?
If you start in the background, you can still continue doing something.
But that will be again lost, right? If
Right,
I
it will be lost.
schedule, it will be lost.
Right, it will be
Right?
lost. Yeah, obviously.
Right. So if you start immediately, you won't be able to do anything, and everything will be started clearing off immediately, right?
Right. See, the deleting process of a client will take at least 30 minutes if there is no data. If it has data, it takes an hour, 2 hours, or 3 hours. Suppose let us consider 000 client deletion. Same 000 client, whatever we have a data, assume we have the same data in 220 client. In our SAP system, it will take not less than 4 hours for deleting that client.
Okay.
Like that.
I have a question on the size of the database. What will be the size of the SAP production database?
See, it will be in the terabytes, but by default, the default size when a SAP is installed, the SAP will load some files, right? The default size without any data is 150 GB. So our SAP system is IDES. IDES will be close to 200 GB because it contains 4 additional clients. 800, 810, 812, 811. Am I right?
Right.
And it depends on company to company size. You will have some terabytes of data.
So how much is your current client database size? Do you know?
Correct?
Your current client.
So my client, it is close to 8 terabytes. That is only for production. But non-production data, there is lot.
So it will be more than that?
Of course, you see, it is only production. See, production client is different from non-production client.
Generally, it's the other way around, right? So,
See, usually, when the size means, we will say our production client data only.
right.
See, our production client data means it maintains years of data. Suppose if you are taking BI, business intelligence, you will have exabytes also, some companies. Means 1024 terabyte is equal to 1 exabyte. That much data. See, usually data will be archived. It is not like every time we will maintain the same data. Old data we will archive it. Means we will take a backup. We'll keep as a archives. Present data. See, nobody will maintain the database on our present server hardware. Hard disk. In my server, I have 4 hard disks. I'll not maintain there my database. We will have SAN setup. We will have NAS setup. So, the backup appliances is different. That is a new technology. EMC, you heard about EMC backup appliances? Veritas, Trivoli.
Yeah.
You heard about that?
Yeah.
So they will maintain the SAP, any database data. The data people will maintain. How, because suppose if I have 100 files, picking up one file will take some time. If I have 1000 files, picking up one file will take more time than the picking up one file out of 100 files. Assume that we have 1 million files, and picking up one file will take how much time? It's some manipulations will happen. Indexing techniques we will use. That is part of the backup appliances, guys. So once you enter in any company for a basis administrator, after completing one project, you will come to know, various scenarios, like what is going on in the company. It may not be same in the other company, but there are few things which are common. But one more thing, don't think that everybody knows everything. It's your interest. I have I suppose I have a 10+ years of experience in SAP. I have not shown any interest in knowing all those, what is the technology they are using, all those. It depends. My job is for basis. I am used basis. I know basis. It depends on person to person whether they want to go understand the other things or not. It depends. But every time it will be good to know what technology they are using and what things, isn't it?
So, yeah, okay. Coming back to the deletion client, there is no kind of an admin user where he can go and delete like 2 clients at the same time?
No. You have to ask a developer to write a code for that. As a basis admin, you cannot do like that directly.
So there is no like a super administrator
No.
login and view and delete all like more than 1 client or 2 clients, nothing like that?
See, deleting a client in the company is a very big task. Lot of approvals and lot of things are, and you are thinking about 2 clients at a time deletion. It's a very, it's not that easy to decide. But there is no such things by default available in the SAP system.
Okay.
Decommissioning one client is a big task, and it cannot be done in a overnight. A lot of meetings, lot of approvals, lot of discussions, many things will happen, isn't it? But as from our point of view, what I'm saying right now is that this is the process for deleting.
Okay.
These are the steps for deleting, isn't it?